Keuchel, and he signed in Atlanta for 1 year, I think it was 13.2 million, which was 20 million prorated. The Yankees would not budge on their 17.9 million prorated, which comes out to be somewhere between 11 and 12 million. We're talking about a difference of like $1 million to $1.5 million for Dallas Keuchel on a 1 year rest of this season contract. I cannot come up with a logical reason why the Yankees would not have extended themselves the $1.5 million to get Dallas Keuchel and have some insurance in this rotation for the rest of the year. You could still go out and trade for a pitcher if you really need to, you really want to. But for 1 year, that is what we wanted 1 year. I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense to me. The only thing I can remotely get to is that there was something else in this situation that said Dallas Keuchel is either preferring to go to Atlanta and wants to be there, and if the money's close, then he's going to go to Atlanta, or there was just an overwhelming sense that he just didn't want to play for the Yankees, or I don't know what it was.
But we heard because like 1,000 reports he was willing to shave his beard and come to the Yankees.
I have a hard time believing any reports, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense, because when you're looking at just dollars and cents, when you're looking at just money, and they're going to go over the luxury tax, right? No matter what, with the money that we're going to offer.
Well, no,
anyway.
they're currently a couple $1 million under it, the next luxury tax threshold. But if they signed him to $11.5 million, they're over.
That's what I'm saying. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter if it was 11 or 15.
No,
they were over.
And you're still paying a tax on every dollar. But
I understand that, but you're over. You're hitting the penalty.
It's such a marginal difference.
But
such
here's
a marginal difference.
So then what's the reason?
I don't know.
Is it because you offered a contract and you're just not going to negotiate at this point? I have a really hard time believing that.
This strikes me as a very stubborn negotiation. We're offering you this. Take it or leave it.
But when you're looking at the situation and the overall like, our pitching staff is in shambles right now. Our team is in shambles right now as far as health. You're looking at a guy who doesn't have a lot of action on his arm this year. He's probably been throwing sim games.
He's been throwing. He said
and
for the last month.
And bunch of.
So I listened to an interview with Keuchel, and he said for the last month I've been doing sim games every 5th day. So I'm on a 5-day, and I've built my arm strength up to throw about 100 pitches.
Okay, beautiful. So you're not getting the full action on there, but you're getting yourself into a place where you're in good shape, right? Not extra.
Those are easy 95 pitches that he's been throwing.
No doubt about it. So he's in a good place right now. And you're just going to have to pay money to get Dallas Keuchel on your team.
Just money.
When you have injuries up and down the lineup. What is the problem here?
I don't know.
That's what there has to be something else. There's got to be something else.
So it worked out for Kimbrel. He got 3 years. It did not work out for Keuchel holding out. He actually gets less money in his pocket at the end of 2019 than he did if he would have just accepted the qualifying offer from Houston.
What was it, 17?
17.9, but he would have gotten the full 17.9. Now all he gets is 13.
Yeah. So the other thing you're getting, the other thing I know, right? But the other thing you're looking at is now you have a mercenary. You have a guy who has had very good postseasons, a guy that has had very good regular seasons, a guy that has dominated you in the past, who could flip sides and is now a mercenary playing for another contract on a 1-year deal.
Most likely going to face Houston at some point to get to the World Series this year.
Hello. I mean, are we not talking about the perfect ideal situation where you have Darrell Rivas coming out and just playing for another contract and trying to dominate again? I've compared it to that because it's very, very similar in the sense where you have a guy that has been very good at times and can come out and still help you in a big way, who knows how to win in big situations. I don't get it.
I don't get it unless he is saying to himself and his agent, and they had the discussion saying, if the money is even close, we're going to go to the Braves in the National League because I'm the better chance at putting up good numbers there, setting myself up for next contract. But
if that's what happened, and I think that's very real, and that's a very possible situation, and they expressed that look, you're gonna have to beat this Braves offer by X amount for me to come over here.
Still beating it though.
So I'll shave the beard, but we need 20% on top of what the Braves are going to do. I'm saying, but if that's what happened, if that's the situation where they're saying like we need X amount, I don't know what that dollar is, but I could see that saying, okay, well, we're not even going to offer. We're not going to go up then because that's not going to happen. If that's more the situation, it's a little bit more understandable, but still, it's just money. You're not giving up assets.
And it's 1 year. I get it. If he ended up signing a multi-year deal in Atlanta, I understand why Brian Cashman wants to keep that flexibility on his side for the rotation going forward. Maybe I don't necessarily 100% agree with it, but I can at least wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around this. Everyone's saying, oh, Cashman's got to move up his sleeve. He's going to go out there, possibly trade for Marcus Stroman or Madison Bumgarner, Max Scherzer. Like these names are being thrown around. But you know what? That's going to cost prospects and money.
Scherzer's going to be unbelievably expensive.
And
I
so
don't
is
even think it's
Stroman.
gonna
Are you
happen.
kidding me? The Blue Jays are not going to give up Stroman for any small number of small prospects. It's going to cost you a lot of prospects. Probably going to cost you like Estevan Florial, maybe Clint Frazier, Tario Estrada. Now maybe is in some of these deals. Like, come on.
If we going after any pitcher that's any kind of attractive. Nissan's going to help us with this postseason run. You can pretty much bank on Florial being gone.
Right. And you're going to trade for him, and then the idea would be either you're taking on his existing contract or you want to re-sign him eventually and keep him in your system so you're not just trading for a guy for a year or a year and a half. Okay, so now it's money and prospects. When
I would love
for
the
details, just money. It's just money.
I would love for the details to come out on this after a little bit of time.
There's got to be something else, right? It's the only explanation. There's something else.
The other thing too is that like for me, if I'm looking at what this situation is and he's getting a 1-year deal for Atlanta, if I'm Brian Cashman, like this could be an opportunity to steal a really good guy for 2 to 3 years. Go that extra and try to get some more guaranteed money in his pocket and actually land a Dallas Keuchel for 2 to 3 years, probably at a relatively bargain price.
What are you talking about?
I think that could have been by going that route too. Like he's looking at a 1-year deal right now and potentially even offering something multi-year and get it. Because I don't know why people are looking at saying, I mean, I know we're talking about flexibility, but why is signing Dallas Keuchel for 2 to 3 years a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing, but I think that's Brian Cashman didn't want to do it.
But why?
I think because
I think there could have been a missed opportunity
next year. If you
going in there and getting
going into next year, you have hopefully a healthy Severino, Paxton, Tanaka, and J-Happ, all definitely in the rotation, whether because of performance or money you're already paying them. So there's one rotation spot with Sabathia retiring where you're going to have Herman coming back for the year. Maybe Loaisiga can step up. Who else knows from the system? Maybe you go out and trade somebody in the offseason. So that's one flexible rotation spot that they have. And I know the counter argument to that is, well, we had 5 starters going into this year, and look what happened.
Who gives a
Severino
shit?
Goes down in the second week of March, and Paxton has spent 3 weeks on the IL because of a knee, and Sabathia gets his knee drained every 5 starts. So I get it. But 1 year for Keuchel is such a low risk option.
But that's my point. If it was a 1-year deal and you knew you weren't going to sign him unless you went X amount over, I mean, obviously they didn't want to go multi-year.
What would you have gone to for 1 year? If Keuchel said, I want 1 year, $16 million guaranteed, so $3 million over what Atlanta. If you're Brian Cashman, try to put yourself in Brian Cashman's shoes. How high do you go?
Yeah, I mean, I probably would go $16 million guaranteed. What does that make it for?
16 million it's 16 million. It's probably like a 20. That's like a 23, $24 million contract if you sign him in back in March. What?
I mean, that's a lot of money. That's
okay though. It's 1 year.
I understand that, but there's also a limit for what they're going to do, and you can't. There's optics as well for what you're going to do for one guy. Especially when you just passed up on a $3 million Gio Gonzalez type thing when you could have had somebody in the rotation.
Gio Gonzalez. Okay. Gio Gonzalez is not the pitcher.
No,
that Dallas
he's not
Keuchel
the pitcher. But then at the same time, what's the difference? Is the difference? What was the guarantee on Gio? $3 million.
$3 million plus $500K a start. It could have gone up to like $12 million.
So you're looking. I mean, you're putting a huge amount of dollars on Dallas Keuchel, and there's also these rumors about people talking about that they weren't impressed by Dallas. Then they're not going to offer $11 million for Dallas, $12 million if they weren't impressed. Obviously, they saw enough that they thought he would help out, and they offered a good contract. I don't know what the number would be. 16 million, maybe if it's 3 million over and you get it, land him, fine. I think it would have been good. I do think there was a potential. There's something going on here. He said that he doesn't want to play in New York. unless this. What is that?
Maybe, and maybe we find that out at some point this season, and we can have some context to this whole thing.
Because if this is Price is Right and going $1 over, like the Yankees would have done that. I firmly believe they would have done that.
They haven't been doing that recently. They've put a price on a player, and they don't spend a cent over that.
But they
price.
don't know what situation they're in the offseason. They know what's happened already. We've seen what's happened.
Right, that's even more of a reason to extend
bloodbath.
yourself a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know Herman was not on the IL at that point, but Herman was struggling at that point. So there was
they
a lot
probably knew something.
A lot of uncertainty in the rotation. I think Keuchel would have been a very safe option. And another thing, so has it been announced yet? Do you know when Keuchel's making his first start?
I haven't seen it.
I meant to
as
check
soon as
this.
I saw he went to Atlanta, he was dead to me.
All right, so maybe
He was dead to me before, dead to me after.
Conservatively, he makes his start in 10 days from now, right? 10, 14 days from now.
Probably less than that. I mean, if he's stretched out, why wait?
But what you're looking at then is 3 months plus for a guy, where if you go out and trade for somebody, you get 2 months.
Right.
So you get an extra month if you sign Keuchel now. It's more value. He's giving you more value on your roster this year. He's helping you win games in June and July rather than helping you win games in just August and September.
He's immediately giving you more organizational value by signing him as a free agent and you not giving up organizational assets. Off the bat, because of the signing, because of the situation, the way this has happened, and now he's looking at a 1-year deal. Again, even if like I thought it would have been a good move if he went 2 to 3 years. Maybe he's just not even. Maybe he wants to bet on himself, finish out this year, and go for a big contract.
I respect
Maybe he's
that.
looking at, and that's fine. Yeah, all of these things that I'm talking about very well could have been off the table. We don't know what happened behind the scenes. But your organizational value, if you sign a guy off the street and not have to give up any assets for him, boom, already more valuable.